If you find it almost impossible to say no to people and constantly overextend yourself until you're burnt out and grumpy, this video is for you. This video is going to be like a quiz, and it will help you determine if you are codependent and what to do about it. So you're just going to listen to the different points and answer yes or no to them, and then you'll count them up at the end. But first, in case we haven't met yet, I'm Michelle Baker, creatrix of art as a soul language. I help creative women in midlife use art to unlock their purpose and listen to their soul's wisdom. Okay, are you ready for the quiz? All you got to do is keep track of your yeses and your nos. If you get a yes, then either count it on your hand or write it down. Are you ready? Number one. Does it feel like who you are is based upon helping other people with their problems? Do you focus in on any problem that somebody else has, and then you're like a honing device to go in and solve it for them? Just feel into that and then answer yes or no for yourself. Okay, number two. Do you find it almost impossible to say no to people? You might be like, oh, tomorrow I'm really going to set better boundaries. Tomorrow I'm going to say no. I know I'm going to say no. And then when they ask you, you find yourself saying yes anyways, or you come up with really good, convincing reasons why you need to say yes to this one, but you're going to say no to this other thing. So just take note of that if that one's a yes for you. Number three of the quiz. Do you feel like the survival of your relationship is up to you? This is more about your intimate relationship. Do you feel like it completely depends upon you to keep it alive? And if you were to step back from the active role that you play in it, that your relationship would probably crumble. If that's a yes for you, make sure to tally that one up. Okay, ready for number four? Do you find it hard to trust yourself? Is it hard to really trust that you know where you're going, that you have chosen the right path for yourself, or even the best next step? Number five, are you trying to do it perfect all the time? You might not be doing this consciously, so you've got to sink down for a second. Are you trying to do the absolute best that you can possibly do to an extent that is actually really stressful and pretty much impossible to live up to, but you try as hard as you can? That would be an equivalent to trying to do it perfect all the time. So really feel into that for yourself. Am I trying to achieve something that I would never ask or expect of anybody else? Number six, is it hard for you to know how you are actually feeling? Is it challenging to be able to name your emotions or know what the sensations in your body are, or maybe even to tune into your body at all? Maybe it feels like, yeah, I have no idea what's going on down there. So just notice if that might be true for you. If it is, make sure to tally up that yes for yourself. Number seven, do you avoid conflict by forfeiting your own desires? So again, in relationship with people, are you more willing to just remove the thing that you are wanting in order for the other person or people to be happy? Is it easy for you to sacrifice for yourself for the greater good of those that are concerned? Does that tend to be a habit for you? If yes, make sure you tally that one up. Number eight, is it difficult to know what you need? Do you know what you really need? Can you assess the difference between need and want? Or are your needs just like wants, where you can easily give them up at any given moment? If that's the case, then put a yes for number eight, if it's difficult to know what you need. Number nine, do you feel like you don't get appreciation for what you do for others? Does it feel like you put in more than 50% and you're constantly trying to solve their problems and keep the relationship held together, and you're not getting any appreciation or not very much appreciation for all that you do? Really feel into that. For me, when I was in this place, I would have a lot of anger and resentment. So just notice if that feels like a yes for you or not. If it is, add that to your little tallies. And then you might want to pause the video for a second and add them up, or if they're on your hand, you might see. If you answered yes to at least 5 of these questions, then it is probably true that you are codependent. So, what does codependent mean? A good way to think about it is when being in relationship, you're completely tied into the other person, so much so that you don't actually have your own feeling of your separateness and your identity without them. And that a lot of your identity is tied into if they're okay and if they're happy. So it's like I'm constantly trying to make them happy, but I never really am focused on myself and what would make me happy. That is a good definition of codependence. And more importantly, if you're saying yes and you're nodding your head like, yeah, this is me, and you're also tired of living life for everybody else. You're like, yeah, I do that, but I thought that's the only way to do it, which is often what happens because we grow up this way and naturally do it without even realizing it. But if you do get the resentment and you don't know how you feel and you wish life was a little bit more or a lot more about you, but you don't know how to get there, then it is time for 3 key shifts. And I know everybody talks about you just got to have better boundaries. That's what always comes up, but it's actually more than that. So, the first key shift that you need is to uncover the inner world root issue for why you feel that your value is tied to somebody else's state of okayness. This is deep in your inner world. It's been there for a really long time. And there is a way in which it feels that the thing that you contribute to the world, the reason that you're here and why you are valuable to be in relationship with is because of how you take care of the other person and solve their problems and try to help them be happy and okay. And this is actually not your truth. Your worthiness and your value is not tied into anything that you do for other people, but it's important to dig into where that root came from and how it's alive in you right now. And this is more than a mind level approach, which is part of step number 2. So, step 2, a key shift, is to update your operating system so that your whole body and your mind and your energy body can release that feeling that you have to be the fixer for anybody else, that who you are is tied into how somebody else is. And I say operating system because it really is how you function. It's so entrenched into the fiber of your being because you were taught to be this way from a very young age. So the operating system is like how we see the world, what we expect from the world, what we expect from other people, and how we view ourselves. And our operating system can be based on an old, outdated version of what we thought was true about life and ourselves from a long, long time ago. So, being able to update it, not just by thinking something differently in your mind, which is a small part, but actually having all the fibers of your being know it and feel it and see, oh my gosh, I actually don't have to take care of anybody to be valuable and lovable and worthy is huge. And third, the third key shift is to rediscover who you are. Because your identity has been so tied into other people, it's important for you to go on a soul purpose journey right now in this moment and rediscover what lights you up, what makes you passionate, what is the authentic thing that is inside of you, the expression that wants to come forward if you were given the space and the time in which to really connect to it and do so. That is the key shift that you would like to be making to get out of codependence and into a life that is more fulfilling and about you, which is who your life is supposed to be about. So, if you are still here and you are resonating with what I've been telling you, and you're like, yes, check, 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 this is me. Yes, I want it to be different. What do I do now? I would love to invite you to my free Unlock Your Purpose Challenge. It is all about women who are people pleasers that have been living life for everybody else, but they are ready to do this differently. And I will be there with you through this challenge to root you on and help you have ahas and turn your blind spots into breakthroughs so that you can transform this way of being into something that is more aligned and in service of you. So if that sounds interesting to you, I will put a link right below this video, and I would love to see you there.